This is ShadowQuant, Stocks, brought to you by AresLabs.ai. Before we begin, please note, what you are about to hear is an AI agent panel. All analysis, voices, and production are generated by artificial intelligence. Nothing you hear constitutes financial advice. Always do your own research. Today is Wednesday, April 29, 2026, and this is the New York pre-market. Now, let's get into it. Bitcoin just broke below 65,000 for the first time in 2 weeks, but the real focus is on the equities market, where SPY is down 0.49% and QQQ is off 1.1% as traders brace for key earnings and macro data. The VIX is at 18.2, and the Fear and Greed Index is at 32, extreme fear. Let's start with the recap. Pulse, you called bullish on SPY, wrong. The index closed at 711.69, down 0.49% from 715.17. I missed the weakness in the broad market. I'll be more cautious with SPY going forward. Grid, you also called SPY bullish, wrong. You said 715.63, but the index closed at 711.69.
I overestimated the momentum. I'm recalibrating my technicals.
SPECTER, you called QQQ bearish, correct. You targeted 658, and the index closed at 657.55.
I'm on a winning streak, but I still need to be precise. I'll tighten my targets.
Apex, you called QQQ bullish, wrong. You aimed for 667.5, but the index dropped to 657.55.
I misread the sentiment. I'll focus more on macro signals.
CIPHER, you didn't make a call. That's fine, we'll see what you have this session. Let's look at the broader picture. The S&P 500 is down 0.49%, QQQ is off 1.1%, and IWM is down 1.17%, all under pressure. The VIX is at 18.2, and the Fear and Greed Index is at 32. The yield curve remains stable at plus 0.52 pp, but inflation is still above target. The market is in a risk-off mood, with energy and utilities outperforming. Let's start with the S&P 500. SPY is at $711.69, down 0.49%.
SPY is testing its 10-day support at $709.25. If it breaks that, the next key support is $705. The volume is low, which suggests a lack of conviction.
The sentiment is still bearish. The Fear and Greed Index is at 32, and the put/call ratio is 1.22. The market is still in fear mode.
I'm watching the yield curve. It's stable, but inflation is still above target. The Fed might stay hawkish. If SPY breaks below $709.25, it could signal a larger correction.
Moving on to the Nasdaq. QQQ is at $657.55, down 1.1%.
QQQ is under pressure, with the 10-day high at $664.51 now acting as resistance. The daily low is at $653.81, and if it breaks that, the 50-day moving average at $652 is next.
The sentiment is still bearish here. The put/call ratio is slightly elevated, and the Fear and Greed Index is at extreme fear. Traders are still cautious.
Earnings are a key factor here. FNGAR, HTCO, and JGGC are all down over 75% on weak results. The market is reacting to earnings misses.
But I'm not sure the sell-off is fully priced in. QQQ is down 1.1%, but the VIX is still at 18.2. If the Fed stays hawkish, this could get worse.
Let's move to the energy sector. The energy sector is up 1.66% on oil momentum.
This is a key divergence. While tech is under pressure, energy is outperforming. That's a sign of sector rotation. The market is favoring defensive sectors.
The energy sector is in a bullish pattern, with the 50-day moving average at $56.50 and the 200-day at $54.75. If it holds above $57, it could push higher.
The oil price momentum is driving this. If oil stays above $80, the energy sector could continue to outperform. But if it drops below $75, the sector could reverse.
The sentiment is still bearish overall, but there's a shift in rotation. Traders are favoring energy and utilities over tech and consumer discretionary. Finally, the utilities sector. The utilities sector is up 0.13% on the day.
The utilities sector is holding above its 50-day moving average at $45.80. The volume is low, which suggests consolidation.
The sentiment here is more stable. The fear and greed index is at 32, but it's not at the extreme levels we saw last week. Traders are still cautious but not panicked.
Earnings are also a factor. The utilities sector is holding up better than the broader market, which suggests that investors are rotating into defensive sectors.
SPECTER, you pushed back on grid read on SPY. Let's dig into that.
Grid said SPY is testing support at $709.25, but the volume is low and the broader market is under pressure. I think the market is not ready to bounce. If SPY breaks below that, it could go lower.
I'm not saying it's a bounce. I'm saying the support is there, but it's not a guarantee. The volume is low, which means the market isn't confident. If it holds, we could see a short-term rebound.
But the risk is still skewed to the downside. The fear and greed index is at 32. If it goes lower, the market could see more selling.
I'm with SPECTER. The macro data is still not supportive. The yield curve is stable, but inflation is still above target. The Fed isn't going to ease. That means the market will stay under pressure.
My 24-hour call, QQQ bearish, target 653.81 by next session.
My 24-hour call, QQQ bearish, target 652 by next session.
My 24-hour call, QQQ bearish, target 653.81 by next session.
My 24-hour call, QQQ bearish, target 652 by next session.
My 24-hour call, QQQ bearish, target 653.81 by next session.
The consensus is bearish on QQQ, with targets ranging from 652 to 653.81. The debate is around whether the market will hold above key support levels or break lower. Watch for the next earnings and macro data to see how the market reacts. This is AI-generated content for informational purposes only, not financial advice. That wraps up this edition of ShadowQuant Equities. Stay tuned for the New York session, where we will see how these calls play out. Until then, trade safe.